Hey guys, There's here and welcome to a new tutorial. It's been a while, so let's see what we're gonna make today. So I recently made this piece as a part of my daily 1-hour piece challenge. So I just thought I'd show you guys how to do a bunch of stuff from this image, such as the rain impacts here, and the rain, some color adjustments, you know, and how I did the mask and everything that's inside it. And we're going to learn also some color correction, some lighting, you know, just basic stuff. This is not hard to do. Let's get on to with the most important part, which is the color adjustments. So I'm just gonna hide all of these, and I'm gonna show you that we have this girl here, which I used as the subject for this piece. So it's just a simple image, just an image of this girl, which I got from Shutterstock. I can't give you all the stocks except for the rain brushes thingy. I'm gonna give you that, don't worry about it. But the girl, I got it from Shutterstock, so I can't share the image since, you know, it's against the terms and conditions and whatever of Shutterstock. So I just isolated her from the background and imported her into just a white background, which was before I added some Tokyo stocks and stuff. So it was kind of like this when I started. The next thing that I did is work on the background a bit. So if you look on the background that I have right now, it's very colorful, very lots of lights and stuff. So if I go to a blank background, I'm going to show you some stocks that I used, which I have these Tokyo Cyberpunk stocks that I bought from Gumroad. Let me just put the window right about here. There you go. So there's a bunch here, a lot of them actually, and they didn't cost me much. I think $10 or something. And they're pretty nice for when you're doing techie stuff, you know, so cyberpunk stuff. I'm gonna link to the pack in the description. It's a pretty nice website called Photobash, and it's a collection from a lot of people that do concept art, and it's really cool. So I just simply like added a stock that I just to the piece, you know, in the background, and I made it bigger just like this. And I made sure that I have a decent amount of lights in the background. And then the only thing I did is just go to filter and then blur and then motion blur. There we go. And I put it to 90 degrees and then the distance to something big. Once I did motion blur, I added some Gaussian blur. So blur, Gaussian blur. And just about this, 23 pixels. Now depending on your resolution, just play around with it. So mine's a big resolution, so I have to use big numbers. So then I just resized it, you know, just like this. Then I added another stock on top. Let me see. I can't find the same stock that I used. I mean, I probably could, but it's gonna take too long. So let me just grab something that looks colorful and just use that effect. I think here on top there should be some more colorful stocks, like in the first ones. Let me see here. There's a lot of pictures. There we go. I just missed it. There you go. This one here. This is the one that I also used to make to put on the mask. You know, I put this on the mask so it gives it a nice sci-fi look. Just add a filter blur, motion blur again. And this one, I think I put it on, want to say color dodge. Yeah, sort of. Screen, maybe. Yeah, screen. Definitely screen. So it's the same thing. I just used other stocks. Just grab some lights. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be Tokyo, you know. It can be just something with lights in the background. Something with colorful lights. I just found the Tokyo stocks to be appropriate. Let me just delete this and bring out my old background, which I did here. See, it's just motion blur and on screen mode with lowered opacity. And then I just merge the layers into the background. So once you get the background done, you're gonna work on the girl, right? So I have her isolated. There's no background, obviously. And you can use you don't have to use this girl. You can use any subject. You know, you can take a picture of yourself and use yourself as, you know, something. Ooh, what would be cool, like if you can wear a tie or something, very classy, and then just add the mask. So it's like a classy kind of cyborg. It's gonna be cool. And now I just added a lot of adjustments. So color balance, curves, levels, hue and saturation, brightness, and exposure. I just add these randomly. I don't really have, well, except for the color balance. I always put that first. But the rest, you know, I just add them, and if I need one of them, I will use them. If I don't need one, I'm gonna delete it. So these are clipped to the girl. So to create a clipping mask, simply right click wherever layers above the girl, your subject, and then create clipping mask. Now it says release clipping mask, so let me just show you. If I release the clipping mask and add the effect, it's going to add it to the whole thing that's under, all the layers that are under, it's going to add the effect. But if I create a clipping mask to the girl, as you can see this small arrow over here, then it's going to apply it just to the girl. So in the color balance panel, adjustments here, I focused on blues. So the midtones here, the tones, I put it to the cyan here and to the blue here, and the shadows to the cyan and to the blue. And for the curves, see, as I just don't have a clipping mask right now, so it's gonna add the effect to the whole picture. So let me just select all of them and put them back as a clipping mask, so it just adds to the girl. In the curves panel, the curves adjustment, I just made like a parenthesis here, you know, it's just like this, just dragged it down a bit. So I give it a darker look, see, before and after, it's definitely darker right now. Then I added some levels, and I just moved the midtones here, you know, so I can make it darker. I just made it a bit darker. The point here is to make your subject dark and to make the colors fit. Hue and saturation, this is the one that's going to make more of a difference, you know. I lowered the saturation since there was a bit too much red going on. See how her face is all red and stuff, like she has a fever. So what I did is I lowered the saturation and lowered the lightness, right? And again, everything is clipped to the girl, so all these effects apply just to the girls, to the girl. Now the brightness, I increased the contrast here by a lot and lowered the brightness a bit. So I keep getting darker. The same with the exposure. I lowered the exposure and the offset just a tiny bit by 0.0006%. So I'm just aiming for dark stuff here because I'm going to make it, I don't know, I'm going to make it light up, and you'll see why. So remember the stock that I just showed you guys, this one here? Let me just open it. Oh my god, my computer is so slow lately. I don't know what's happening. If it's lonely. Okay, this one here. So what I did is I blurred it. I added a Gaussian blur, and I put it on color dodge mode, and I clipped it to the girl. So let me show you. See how lights just appear here towards the chest area? This is what. This is on color dodge right now. If I put it on normal, you will see what I did. So let me release the clipping mask so you can see it even better. So see, this was the stock that I just showed you, but I just went to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur. And what I mean, I don't need to apply it again, but just to show you, and just blur your image. So what I did is these lights, I applied these as lights. So I want basically these lights to hit the girl's skin. So if I put this on color dodge right now, you can see that the lights appear on her skin. Like there's red here and blue here and the red over here. And I just copied that a bunch of times, right? And I just moved it around. And these are all on color dodge. Apparently the second one is on opacity, 23%. Now, you don't have to do exactly like this, okay? So you could just remove this one or remove this one and just leave like subtle lights. But I just wanted more lights, you know, I want more lights hitting her skin. So, as always, clipping mask, very important. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the mask shadow. Okay, yeah, the mask shadow. I'm going to show you how to do mask and everything, so don't worry. So far, we've learned about some adjustments, you know. I made my background light, my subject dark, by adding a bunch of adjustments. You don't have to use these exact ones, just the ones that you need, you know. Play around. There's a bunch of over here, so I could also add, I don't know, vibrance, you know, and make the girl more vibrant, more saturated, but I don't want that in this particular piece, because I'm going to add the lights, as I said, by blurring the city stock image that I had. Again, it doesn't have to be Tokyo. Just grab some image online. It's gonna be destroyed anyway. It's gonna be all blurry and stuff. But for the mask, you're gonna need crisp images. So, what is this? These are okay. So, this layer here is sampled colors from the background, and with a soft brush, I just added them here on the edge of the girl. So, it's on screen right now, 100%. Let me show you again how I did this. I just grabbed a normal, regular soft brush that you find in Photoshop, size, I don't know, let's say 200 pixels, right? I hold Alt and I can sample. Right now I can sample colors from the image. So I sampled this light yellow kind of here, right? And I just put it here on top with a soft brush. And the layer is clipped to the girl, as always, because I only want to work on a girl right now. As you can see, there's some pink here. So if I make a new layer, right click, create clipping mask, it's clipped to the girl, okay? And let me just hide this so I can show you again. Screen mode, screen blending mode, sample, and just put around here. This pink here around the neck, just like that, see? So it's hitting the skin, the light behind is hitting the skin. So I'm gonna sample here and here by holding Alt, you know, and just clicking just like that. Some blue over here from this blue area, and yeah, maybe some blue from here. There we go. Kind of like that. Let me just remove that and put the original back on. And oh, obviously next to the ear, because when I made the mask, it had this blue area here, right? And I was like, okay, so this neon sign is over here. It's gonna make some lights, so it's gonna make some blue lights. That's why I added that blue over there at the ear, so it's more realistic. Okay, let's see here. The mask. How did I do the mask? It's super easy, super easy. If you watch my previous tutorial, which also included a girl with a mask, it should be pretty straightforward. The mask is just a shape, right? This is the mask. That's all there is to it. It's just a shape that I did with the pen tool. So let me show you. I'm going to make a new layer on top of my, let me just hide this mask. I don't need it right now. So it's important that you have a layer on top of the girl, right? Because you're going to be working on making the mask above her. Grab your pen tool. This is the pen tool here. You can access it by pressing P or just holding here and, you know, selecting it. What I did, I selected path. Yeah, not shape, path. It doesn't matter. You can also use shape, but I don't know. I like path more because I can see where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I just clicked over here. I started at the bottom lip and just made the shape of the mask. So I went around the ear here, and if I hold Alt, I am telling this path that it's gonna have a rough edge, a rough corner, right? So see how one line disappears? Because if I don't remove that line, let me show you. It's gonna make a curve, right, like this, right? So I'm gonna have to then manually take this by holding Alt and make a corner like that. But I can just hold Alt and click once, and it just automatically makes an edge. See how it's straight right now? The next thing that I did, I just pressed here above, hold Shift, and now I can see I can move at 90 degrees, and it's just gonna sit still. Because if I don't hold Shift, it's gonna go all wherever it wants. I'm gonna hold Shift and just drag like that. Now I just left this area here, left this arm here as it is, and just clicked right about here, right? So basically I'm just telling Photoshop what shape to make, right? and over here I came like this, I think, and came back to like this. Let me just move this point over here. Whoops. There you go. Just like that. Okay, so once you close the path, right? Once you went point to point, you're going to right click and then select fill path. So it's gonna fit either with a color of your choice or with a pattern or whatever. I just use the foreground color because I can change it anyway. So press OK, and it's gonna fill with my foreground color, which is white right now. If I press enter though, now this is a rasterized layer, okay? It's not a smart object or anything. I can just lock the transparent pixels, grab my bucket tool, grab black, and just pop it in. And now my mask is black, or I can do it red, wherever I want. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go with black, right? And let me just remove this mask because, I mean, I already have one. There we go. So just, you know, I refined it a bit. Yeah. So it's not exactly as the one that I did before. I refined it, right? So it looks more, it fits to the shape of the head better. So I just added a few things to the mask, you know. I clipped the mask to the mask. It's kind of funny. I used the clipping mask on the mask layer to just add the images. The same that I did for the girl, right? The girl has clipping mask, which allows the effects to apply only to the girl. And now I'm back at the mask, so all the effects that I'm doing just apply to the mask. This is a, let me release the clipping mask. This is a galaxy nebula kind of thing that I got from Shutterstock. And I warped it, okay? So it makes the shape of the mask more 3D, right? And I lowered the opacity, you know. I just needed a starting texture. It doesn't have to be a galaxy, it can be anything you want. So I lowered the opacity on normal, blah, 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 opacity 42%. So I just had a texture to start with, okay? Then I added this texture here on screen, and this is a texture now. It's just the Tokyo stock that I've been using. Right, this one here. This is the one that I've been using, and I just put it on screen mode and clipped the mask to the mask layer. So that's why it's you can't see the stuff in the background, you know. See, if I move it here, you can see the part I erased. I erased the middle here, so I just left this because I liked the it looks like, I don't know, Techie's circus or something, right? So I left it, and I made a copy of it on the other side. So just make a copy of it and clip the mask to it on the other side. The next one is this Tokyo stock. Let me release the clipping mask, and as you can see, it's warped. How do I warp things in Photoshop? It's pretty easy. You just grab your stock image. Let me just import a new tab here so you can see. So what I did to make the shape, you know, of the mask more 3D, I just press Control and T on the keyboard, and then right click and then warp. So right now I can bend my stock image, right? I can bend it however I want to. So if I bend it like this, I can apply the stock to the mask, you know? It's gonna apply to the image. See, just the same bend that I did on the second image here, right? Same bend over here, and I pressed enter to apply the bend, and then I right click, create clipping mask, and put it on 50% opacity on normal. There we go. So I have some texture going on, you know. I can see some reflections of the city inside of the mask. Now this urban reflection here, now this is I think an image of some sort of metal statue in a city. So I don't know, it's I grabbed this just for the lights, just for these lights over here. See these white lights? That's the only reason I got it. And you're not going to see anything else besides these white reflections. I just needed something, you know, some reflections on the mask. I could have also used these blue ones here, but I didn't. I used the white ones. It's on screen mode. 100% opacity, and then right click and create clipping mask. And as you can see, I have some lights going on here. It's important to have these lights on this particular mask because I wanted my mask texture to be glossy, right? So it's a glass mask basically. So it's gonna have reflections. It's gonna reflect whatever's around you, okay? The lights, everything. And I just copied this a bunch of times. You see around the ear here, I added some the same thing, right click, create clipping mask, and another one which is gonna be on the lower left side of the mask. Right click and create clipping mask. So screen mode is pretty cool because it eliminates all the blacks and just leaves the highlights. Okay, this is why if I put it on normal right now, as you can see, the darks just reappear, that black area. But if it's on screen mode, it eliminates the blacks. That's why I can get out only the reflections. So let's learn another cool thing, which is the rain. The rain impacts. Let's learn the rain impacts first. How do I do this? It's super easy. Super easy, super easy. Let me show you. Basically, you make a layer, and then you grab this brush here. Well, it doesn't have to be this brush, okay? It can be any brush, which is like splattery and stuff. So let me show you this brush that I have here. Give me a second. I saved it here. There you go. I have a lot of brushes, but I rarely use them all. I mostly stick to the basic ones, which are on top, you know. So you don't have to have 1,000 brushes like I do. Photoshop lags a lot because of it. I'm gonna have to refresh and redo my brush inventory. So I'm gonna select white right now. Okay, this is a new layer, normal, blah blah blah. This is the brush that I'm talking about. So as you can see, if I move around, it's like this splat kind of thing. If you want to make this brush on your own, I think let me try to replicate it with a normal brush. So this is the regular circular brush you get in Photoshop, right? So it's a circle. Make it a small size. Let me see. Okay, this seems like a good size. Opacity, why is it 70%? Put it on 100%. No. Okay, let's leave it at 70. I can see why. And go to your what's it called? Brush panel, and you can play around with scattering around here. So go to scattering, scatter it, and there you go. But let's play around, you know, with a few things like transfer, opacity, jitter, you know. So some things are harder, some things are less hard. Shape dynamics, minimal diameter. So we have some variation. Let me see, roundness, jitter, play around with it, just angle jitter. What else do we have? Scattering, let's scatter it a bit more. Can we? Nah, we can't. Count jitter, and it doesn't do much. Brush tip shape, spacing, put a bit of spacing between them. And can we do size variation? Where was that? Size jitter, there we go. And with size jitter, you're gonna have basically the same brush. So what I did to get this brush, shape dynamics, pump up the size jitter, angle jitter just a bit, roundness jitter just a bit, minimum roundness, doesn't really matter. Scatter is important, just pump it up to the max. The count, don't touch it, don't touch it. The transfer, turn on the transfer, put the opacity jitter about 50%, and just leave the rest as it is. And obviously in the brush tip shape, you can increase the spacing. So I'm gonna have it about 30. So if I do this right now, it's the same brush, just smaller. I can make it bigger right now, right? So it's gonna be like some bokeh stuff. Oh, you can also do bokeh with this brush. It's pretty cool. But only if I get it like a big size. It's gonna make like bokeh. Okay, I'm gonna have to blur it a bit. Anyway, brush, right? You're gonna use that scatter brush. Make it your own, okay? And you just have a lot of these, right? What you do is you hold Shift, click and drag, and just paste a bit more. So you have kind of like a line, see? Now press Control and T, and it's gonna select this brush that you just did, this whatever you brushed, okay? And I'll drag it down and press Enter. So as you can see now, it's all thin. It doesn't look like much. What you do next is you click a bunch of times with the same brush on top of the line and press Ctrl T again and lower it again and press enter. And there you go. We have this line. This is what's important right here. So we're going to use this brush to create these lines, which we will move right here where we want the impact to happen. And we're going to press Ctrl T on the keyboard, and we're going to put it like this in an angle. Because imagine it wrapping around the mask. Okay, so this is going to fall off. Let me grab some normal brush here. There you go, so I can show you with some red. This is going to fall off on this area here. And this is going to fall off on this area here of the mask, okay? And we're going to use the warp that we used for the mask background image, right? And it's just warping. That's all there is to it. Let me make a copy first, because I'm going to use it on the shoulder here and on other sides of the mask. So I'm just going to hide the copy. So this one here, this line that we just made with the scatter brush that I show you how to make, simply press Ctrl T on the keyboard once you've rotated like this, and right click and then warp. And now just simply drag it and try to wrap it around the mask, right? Let me just drag this area here and drag this corner here just like this, and try to make it wrap around the mask just like that, like it's hitting the mask. That's where you're gonna have your impact, and press enter. So if you can't see it that much, but see it's there, the shape, make a copy of it. Ctrl J is a shortcut that will duplicate your layer, and there you go. Now you can merge these layers, right? So hold Control and select these two layers, and right click and then merge. And I can just move it around with my move tool. See? This is the shape that we just created. And it fits, it wrapped around with the warp tool around the mask. I know that there are impacts of the rain on the mask right about here. We're gonna do the same for the shoulder. So let me just unhide. And this is the copy that we have. Let me make another copy, because I'm gonna use it in a bunch of places. So I'm just gonna move it around here and see how it impacts the shoulder. Now I know that over here there's gonna be rain impacts. Press Ctrl T, right click, warp, and just warp this area here, because it's just gonna go around here. There we go. Because the shoulder is pretty straight, so we don't need to do much. And press enter. I don't think I need to duplicate it. Let me see. No, that's too intense. Okay, now let's copy this and put it on this side. Whoops. Wow, I totally messed up there. Just copy this, Control T, and rotate it so it's on the other shoulder here. Just a tiny bit. And press enter. So it's hitting the shoulder here. And you're gonna also do it on the ear. This is how you do your rain impacts. But how do you do the actual rain? You don't have to use a stock. You can use a technique that I'm going to show you. So you're going to want to make a layer on top of everything, okay? So it's going to hit all of the layers, because the rain is going to be above everything, okay? So make a new layer on top of everything, and then select your bucket tool, black, and just put it inside of the layer. So you got a black layer on top of everything. You're going to go to filter and then noise and add noise. Now, depending on the resolution of your image, the noise is going to be either bigger, more intense. So just play around. Like my image right now is huge, so I need to use 16% noise. But if your image is smaller, like, I don't know, 1,000 pixels high or something, then use something like 4 or 5-6%. Okay, so once you've added noise, make sure it's Gaussian and monochromatic. You want it black and white. Press OK. So now we got a black layer with noise on top of it. What you're gonna do now is you're gonna go to filter, blur, and then motion blur. And just, I know that the angle is gonna be about 70, I think. 70? No, maybe 60. Okay, 60 degrees is going to be my angle because I know that I want the rain to fall at an angle, okay? Because it's hitting the mask at an angle. So once you've added this motion blur, let me just lower it. Not too much, okay? I mean, 49 pixels for me at this resolution is okay. So press OK once you're satisfied. So this is a bit too much right now. There's too many droplets. So to lower the amount of droplets, press Control and L on the keyboard. And this is going to pop up the levels panel. And you can adjust the layer here. I'm going to pump down the blacks, okay? See how there's less and less rain? Okay, and pump up the whites. So my whites stand out a bit. There we go. So check that out. There's only a bunch of droplets now. I can also increase the blacks even more and make more droplets disappear. So pump up the blacks, I guess, and pump down the whites. Just drag them towards the middle, but not too much from the black because it's gonna make your canvas completely black and then it's useless. And press OK. And we have our rain. Now put it on screen mode, and as I told you before, screen mode eliminates the blacks and leaves the whites. So let me just zoom into 100% so you can see. So there's faint rain right now. So just duplicate the layer a few times by pressing Control and J. So Control J, Control J, Control J, Control J. Okay, what is this? How many times did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times. Now you can hold Shift and select all these rain layers that you just made, all the copies. Right click and then merge layers. So we have more intense rain. Now put it on screen mode again. And you can even make another copy. And there you go. You got your rain. Let's merge these layers again. Put it on screen mode. And what happens here, what I noticed is that the bottom and the top part of the piece just, I don't know, it's more intense there. So press Control T on the keyboard and put that top and bottom part out of bounds, okay? Out of the canvas area. And press Enter. There we go. No more imperfections. So we got rain, and we got the droplets, we got the reflection, we got the mask. If you want to add some adjustments, such as color correction and stuff like that, I'm going to show you how. First of all, let me just remove the rain and all because I already have it. I already have the rain splatters. Oh, yeah, just let me put that. What is this? Oh, there we go. Is this too much? Yes, it is. Let me just remove these. There we go. So this is the original image, I guess. Yep. I added some light effects. I had some bokeh stocks lying around, so let me just put it on normal. As you can see, I had some, it's just the bokeh stock on top in screen mode. There you go. 100%, because I wanted some yellow lights and some bokeh on top. And this one, I don't know, what is this one? Oh, it's some bokeh, I guess. Yeah, it's just some bokeh. I had a lot of bokeh. That's good. And on the bottom here is bokeh. Okay, so I added a lot of bokeh. Now, what you want to do if you want to, increase the colors and maybe play around with some effects, maybe change the colors, add some more saturation. You can easily do this instead of adding 1,000 freaking adjustment layers. You can just make a new layer on top of everything and then go to image and then apply image, okay? And then press OK. What this is going to do, apply image just puts all your contents of whatever you did so far inside of an empty layer. So this layer contains everything. So I can hide all of these under, it doesn't matter, because the one that's on top with everything is not going to disappear until I hide it, obviously. So with this layer, where everything is merged, go to filter and then camera raw filter. So camera raw, this is obviously for photographers, and to edit their photos, you know, their raw images in raw format. I think it's like NEF for Nikon, and I don't remember for Canon because I only have a Nikon. So in this adjustment panel here, you can play around with a lot of things. Like I can increase the contrast to make it darker, the exposure to make it lighter. I can increase the clarity, and I don't like too much clarity because this looks like HDR and it's a bit too dark, too grungy. I don't know if you know what I mean. I love Vibrance though. Just add that color, just not too much so that it burns your eyes. I'll play around with the highlights, you know, and the shadows. You can make them darker, lighter, however you want to. Sharpening, you can add a sharpening, gonna make your image sharper, obviously. This is the panel that I really like because I can change colors here. So this is the hue, saturation, and luminance panel, and it's the 4th option for me. So I can change the hue of the reds to make them more pink, right? See? Or look at my oranges here. I can change the oranges to more yellow, or I don't know, it looks like green, mostly like tea, kind of tea green. Or I can make them more of kind of a magenta. So I can change colors around how I like them. If I want the blues to be more purple, I can make them more purple or more aqua, however I want to. So let me just play around, you know. Oranges, make them more intense here, more towards magenta. I can change the greens to more yellowish, etc. The saturation, obviously, you can increase how intense the color is. So I can make my blues really intense or just like black and white if I want to. I can also make the reds black and white. Doesn't matter, the oranges. Here you can see it more intensely. So yeah, the luminance is how bright it's going to be. So I can make the reds brighter, etc. The oranges and so on. You can play around with the adjustments however you want to. As for the FX here, the FX panel, I like to add grain because it gives it a more movie kind of look. Post crop, vignetting, I don't know, maybe tiny bit of vignetting to the dark side. If you put it to the left, it's going to add dark. If you put it to the right, it's going to add white. So just a bit to the dark side. Dehaze, this is mostly for landscape, you know, to remove the atmospheric haze that you get in landscapes. I like this because it adds more contrast to the image. Like, I don't know, it just makes stuff pop for regular images. So not very often I use it. So as you can see, this is what I have right now with the image. So if I press OK, I'm pretty satisfied with the result. As you can see, the before and after is definitely clear as day. There's definitely more color here, more lights. The colors are also changed. You know, I changed my yellows to a bit more magenta, and everything is more sharp, more intense. That's basically it. Like this, there's not much to it. Okay, so this piece didn't also take me that long. I want to say 45 minutes, maybe, just because I am not organized with stocks. Well, I don't know, whatever you call organized. I guess I'm pretty organized, but to find the right ones, it's just a bit of a chore, I guess. Doesn't matter. So in the description, you're gonna find links to the Tokyo Pack, I want to say. Yeah, Tokyo Pack, and yeah, that's probably what else can I give you? I mean, the Tokyo Pack, you have to buy it. And the rain you can make yourself, the rain impacts you can make yourself, and the subject, you can use whatever subject you want. You can use a friend, you can use yourself. Again, really want to see a piece like this with some guy in a suit. I could use one of my models, but I kind of like to work with girls more for some reason. Don't ask me why. Yeah, that's about it. By the way, for these reflections here, for these white dots, just use one of the Tokyo reflections, like from some car, or Google for some car night reflection or something, and just warp it so it gives the mask a bit more of a more 3D kind of look. Alright, well, that's about it for the video. Yep, subscribe for more. I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions and stuff, just, yeah. You can find social media links inside of the description. See you in the next video. Bye.